They want attacking purposeful football all the time. Now we've got our backs against the wall and we're going to fight, and we're going to fight hard. You've got to show me all the guts and all the determination you've got in your body. You've got to inspire me.
A marvellous kick. That's as good as you'll ever see. And Footscray are back in front.
I don't know about you guys, but if I see one bloke walking out of here, give the pat on the back from people out there for a good effort, I'll spew up.
From inside the centre square, boys kick the goal. Boys kick the goal. From inside the centre. I can't believe that.
Hey Pack, welcome to Danny Boyd, a podcast about that team that's back on the winners list. It is the Footscray Football Club Proprietary Limited. They trade as Western Bulldogs. I'm Danny McGinley. Mark Stevens is here at his house.
Yes, we're at Rancho Stevo again, Danny, and we've got a special guest.
Yeah.
I'm overawed, actually.
Are you? It is a bit intimidating. He is someone we mention he's a regular part of the show. This is his first time live here in the mic, but we have it with Gigs Facts and also the official club historian of the Footscray Football Club, Andrew Gigacz. Welcome to Danny Boyd Official.
G'day guys, what a privilege it is to be here at Rancho Stevo.
And you, being the official historian, who did you bump for that? Because that's a big title. We've seen Danny and Kev Hill here going head-to-head in Top Tops. But it's a historian chief is a tough gig to get. Someone must have passed away.
It's very difficult, and the truth is that Danny promoted me to the role because I'm actually not the official club historian.
Oh, what?
I thought that might have been the case.
I'm very powerful.
That belongs to the co-author of the book we wrote together last year, Darren Arthur, also known as Ace Arthur.
Yes.
He's the official club historian.
Yeah, I saw him in a pub recently.
So I don't want to do the wrong thing by Ace. He's a very good man and a great historian.
Apologies, Ace. I have met Ace. He's a lovely guy and he does know his history. It's just sounds a bit more showbiz if I call you the official.
Yeah, look, I don't like to disagree with people, so
Good.
I don't.
There we go. So we are going to get into your favourite stories about the history of the Bulldogs. Let's promote the book straight away. The book that came out last year. Well, the upgrade of the book.
Yeah.
From last.
Well, no, it's a complete rewrite, so it's not actually an upgrade. There was a book that came out in '96 called Unleashed.
Yes.
Which Ace did have a part in, but basically we rewrote the history, not rewrote the history.
How did they feel about being rewritten?
I think they were okay with it. I was nagging the club for a few years because I said, it was 1996 that it came out, and there's been a few sort of fairly monumental things happened since then, including a name change, a certain premiership in 2016, two VFL premierships.
And a big prelim, a missed goal umpiring mistake.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The return of the name Footscray via the VFL.
Yes.
The introduction of the women's team and an AFLW premiership.
And, of course, don't forget the famous, never to be repeated, three-peat over 2 centuries.
Correct.
Do you know
exactly
that, Stevo?
right.
We won the VFL Grand Final in 1923, 1924, and then when we were back in the league in 2014, we won it again. That's a three-peat.
Yep.
Huge.
I think I haven't checked with the Guinness Book of Records, but I'd say it's a record. Longest lasting three-peat.
Is it still available or not in a bargain bin anywhere? Or, when you go up to Dalesford and all that in those crappy bookstores. And Nathan Brown's book was 99 cents, I remember.
Yeah, I've picked up a few bargain footy books in op shops over the years, but I'm happy to say that actually this one went into reprint. It was
that's
so
exciting.
Popular. So I haven't seen it in an op shop yet. I'm sure it'll happen.
And obviously a meet and others at the club, you're well reimbursed for this one. It wasn't just a love job.
Well, we did it as a package deal with Slattery Media. I used to work with Jeff often over the years, and so I thought it was a good idea that we got together, which we did.
Another book that I reckon that a lot of people might not realise you wrote or edited that will be on the shelf. You did write it.
Yeah, Against All Odds.
Against All Odds.
2016 pictorial there.
I've got that on the shelf.
Yes.
I can duck out and I might get Gigs to sign that.
There's a big photo of me slightly out of focus next to Peter Gordon.
It's kind of a roundabat way of how I met you. I posted on Twitter.
I'm going to go and get it. I'll be back.
All right.
You being more influential than Peter Gordon at the club, and you responded on Twitter with, "Wait, is this for real?"
Sounds like
and that's how you discovered I was doing the book. So.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, before we get into the book, because I reckon I'm going to get absolutely sucked down that rabbit hole, we do have to discuss the big news of the day that all the Dogs fans are just up in arms about. Michael Voss has walked away from Carlton. Oh, Stevo's just brought back the book. We will get back to the book, Stevo. I think we should talk about the news of the day.
Good looking book, then.
Before we get too distracted with all the history history and tidbits. But so Voss is gone, and once again the Bulldogs find themselves facing the dead coach bounce. This happened. I've run the numbers now. Last year when we were playing the Demons, this happened, and of course we got up in that game.
We did, only just though.
Only just, but Darcy took Mark of the Year in there. But this is now the 11th time, Stevo, that in this century that we have played a dead coach bounce game. The next closest is Melbourne with 8.
Really?
Yeah, I ran the numbers today.
But I was looking at Giggs' son on X, and we're only on 4.
Yeah, but that's because my son did from 2012 onwards, the 18-team era. Danny's gone far deeper.
Yep. And I can tell you all of those games if you would like to know.
Well, yeah, because
do we
I
really
was
want to
flat.
hear about
I was
that?
so flat this morning because we've been on this, haven't we? We've been saying,
Actually,
just don't do it.
God,
Just don't do it.
I've got to get my broadcasting hat on, and I've got to do this properly. Stevo, you are in so much trouble with the listeners. So much of the Danny Boyd inbox is just full of people going, I blame Stevo.
I called it early, and you know what? I got a call this morning. I was that flat. I swore, I was terse, and just the coach. And it happened last year with Goodwin, so that's 2 in a row.
Yep.
But I can't believe you've gone through and done that, Danny. That's extraordinary.
I know. Well, this is what happens when you don't have a real job.
Danny.
But where do you go for that? AFL lists?
AFL tables. I went through every coach that has been sacked from round 1 2000 onwards. I looked at their Wikipedia on when they were sacked, and I looked up the last game they played. Now, I also included in this data a farewell game because 7 times this century teams have been, certain coaches have been allowed to do a farewell game. Like Terry Wallace did it for Richmond against us.
Not for us.
No,
he wasn't allowed.
No,
That's when
wasn't
Peter
allowed to.
Rode got involved.
That's right.
And Rhoda. And we went for the caretaker curse. Rhoda, we won by about 8 goals against Collingwood.
Yeah, you're burying the lead there. We thrashed Collingwood, who went on to make the grand final.
And we fell in love with Rhoda that quickly. He went from footy manager. I remember talking to Rhoda in that week, and I said, would you like to be a coach full time? He said, no, I'm not interested in that. I'm happy in admin. Ended up winning, and maybe he was telling porkies. Ended up being the coach.
Yeah, and then but because we came last the next year, but that got us Adam Cooney, and
and he had a famous banner, Peter Rode, our mastermind.
Yes,
remember that one?
The cheer squad. I think that was the delightful Sue Dyson from the cheer squad. Anyway,
is that tongue in cheek?
No, she's too delightful to do anything.
Retrospectively, yes.
So I've included those farewell games in there, but let me just go through all the dead coach bounce games we've had. So Kevin Sheedy, 2007, is sacked by the Bombers. We play them the next week.
We win that? So it was...
Yes, we do. We did win that.
Right. So our record in these games is actually not too bad for all the angst and tension.
Well, I'll go through them and then we'll get there. And now, this is a kicker. I bet you remember this, Gigs. I also count as dead coach bounce games when a coach is sacked in the off-season and then we play them round 1.
Oh, okay.
I'm counting that.
Yep.
Malcolm Blight, 2001. And then 15 weeks later, Malcolm Blight is sacked. We play the Saints straight after that. And,
so it's a bloody double.
We lost the first one and won the second one.
What's our record at this stage?
Well, I'm not doing them I'm doing them in order of how I've found them on AFL tables. So this is actually in order of when the coach started their career.
Right.
That's how I've had to do it. Terry Wallace, round 11, 2009. We win that. Then we've got Tim Watson, round 1, 2001.
Did we do the Tim Watson one?
We did, yes, because he got sacked. Malcolm Blight took over, and then Malcolm Blight took over. And
we lost that one,
minutes
didn't
later. We lost the
Narrowly.
Tim Watson one. Yeah. We won the Malcolm Blight one, even though Malcolm Blight coached the Tim Watson one. I'm very confused. Anyway, Mark Williams, 2010, round 16. He played a farewell game against Collingwood, but then we played him the next week. That counts, doesn't it?
Okay.
Yeah. John Worsfold, he got sacked at the end of 2013. We played him round 1, 2014. Danny Laidley got sacked round 13, 2009. We played him the next week. Michael Voss, that's this one. Brad Scott did it in 2019, played a farewell game against us. Alan Richardson in 2019, 8 weeks later after Brad Scott. And, of course, Simon Goodwin last year. Our record, Stevo, 6 wins, 4 losses, 1 to be confirmed.
It's fascinating, isn't it? But you had that gut feel that it was going to happen to us.
Oh, yeah.
Again. It's also, and we've spoken about milestone games, we get stitched up on milestone games and coach bounce games.
Yep.
Glenn Archer's milestone, I think it was 300 at the G. Drew Petrie, I reckon, had 6 goals at
I
half-time.
heard you talk about this last week, and I've been meaning to do a bit of a deep dive, which I haven't yet, but I'll get it done for next week.
I was hoping you'd tell us more.
I'll do it for next week.
We'll get it in for the Gigs fact. Of course, Nick Revolt's 300th, and who do we have? The Blitzarves a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, we're getting.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a couple of recent Geelong ones.
Have you at all, gentlemen, looked at the rest of the fixture for the year and got a worrying feeling about any other games?
Do we have Essendon again? Because
we do not.
Well, that's a positive. 'Cause
Absolutely.
Brad Scott's probably the only other one. Maybe looking forward, McWalter will probably get the arse the week we finally get to play West Coast.
That's the one I'm worried. McWalter, Adamuze at Richmond, and let's not rule this out. Who's the caretaker at Carlton? Jeffrey something.
Josh Fraser.
Josh Fraser.
He might hand it over.
He
and
might
say,
be
I'm
like,
now ready to a new coach.
It could be like Tottenham Hotspur. He could be like that bad as a caretaker. They sack him again.
Well, I was a bit concerned that the caretaker would be for Carlton, Ashley Hansen.
Of course.
And of course, he knows a lot about us being an ex-assistant
surprised
coach.
it wasn't Ash Hansen because he's been talked up.
Well, yeah, but his father passed away
Yeah.
recently, so maybe that's had something to do with it.
which is really sad.
Yeah, Clark.
Absolutely.
Condolences there. Clark was one of the loveliest people.
Great, yeah.
Anyone had grown up with the winners.
If you get a chance, have a look at the photo they've chucked up of Josh Fraser, because he does have the 1,000-yard stare of pure fear in his eyes, of just like what it'd be like. There's a sketch. There's a brilliant sketch duo called Mitchell and Webb, and they have a sketch about Hitler's second in charge. After Hitler dies, he's like the Führer for a day, and he's like, and they're like, "Congrats, you're the Führer, but you got to surrender." And he's like, "Oh, can I at least call my wife?"
Yeah. But the funny thing is, I saw Josh Fraser yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
In a cafe. He came in on his own, and I had my head down. I was busy doing other things. I thought, will I say good day or not? Because I actually did a story with Josh Fraser before he was drafted up at Mansfield. I still remember, with a fishing rod and whatever. That's how long I've been around. And now I think about it, Graham Wright does a lot of his key meetings at this cafe in Bridge Road.
Okay, what's it called? Just so we know.
It's next to Lumberjack, and it's called Touchwood.
Touchwood.
Right?
All right.
But
And what were you having?
And the longer I've thought about it, if I'd waited 3 or 4 more minutes and did it around, there is no doubt that Graham Wright was walking in, because Michael Voss pulled the pin on the Friday.
So is that confirmed?
Yeah, so he went to the club Friday. They were up at Brisbane waiting for that game. He said, I've had enough. This will be my last game. So they knew. The club officials knew.
Yep.
So I've got little doubt that Josh Fraser was in the cafe now, waiting, and he looked sheepish, waiting for Graham Wright. I should have stuck around. I might have got the scoop.
What happened to your journalistic instinct, Stevo?
I just couldn't predict it.
Yeah, fair enough.
But, I thought Vossi was safe, as we all did, and I was barracking for Carlton to get back into it. So
very
they'd
much.
survive.
Yes, I was at the Rose Hotel in Fitzroy watching the game against Port Adelaide. But, because it's Carlton Brisbane, and that's an old Fitzroy pub, the volume wasn't up at our game. So we were kind of stuck in the corner, all us Dogs fans and stuff. A couple of listeners, big g'day there. I met a nice guy called Rob, an English guy. He's only just moved here a few years ago, obsessed with the Dogs. Yep. He's from Brighton. He's a Liverpool fan. He was just talking about how excited he was to have Cody Waitman back. It's brilliant.
From Brighton, Melbourne or England?
No, in England.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So, g'day to Rob. He said he's going to start listening, so he says.
Yeah.
And man, I was so depressed when Brisbane were thumping them and going, they're absolutely
But it was a win-win in the end. I'd had a long lunch.
Yeah.
Went out with my boss, 1 o'clock start lunch.
Yep.
So that's not a good thing, is it? We're at the Mitre Tavern. Ended up at the Sherlock Holmes. I got home here at 7:30.
Sherlock Holmes in the city.
In the city.
Collins Street.
Yeah, in
That's
Collins.
a good
Went
pub.
down.
That
Good
was an
pub.
after-work
Hadn't
pub
been
for me.
there
Great
for a long
food.
time.
Great food.
And then watched the Bulldogs game through glassy eyes, really, at that stage.
Now, Giggs, you know that he would have need to go for a walk, because whenever the game's close.
I did.
I know. I listened last week.
So Riley West missed a shot, I think, which would have put us 2 goals up. I thought, kick this and we'll win, Westy. He missed it. Port went down. I think it was a rush behind. And I said to Jane here on the couch, I'll see you later. I'd had a few drinks. I went for a walk. I said, there's nothing I can do. I can't handle this.
Yep.
Went for a walk, timed my run, sat down in a quiet place, turned the phone on, and we won, and then came back and watched the last quarter. and poured a rum and Coke.
I think had you stayed, you might have seen Norton drop a sitter.
I saw
and
that.
also Artie Jones.
And
Artie's been amazing, though.
I'll not have a bad word
What
said
about
about
the
Artie, but it
umpiring?
did happen.
What about the umpiring? There was a down the field against Kennedy. Horn Francis was caught holding the ball in the last 2 minutes. Not paid. And Georgiades, you touch a little tap on the wrist, and it was a free against Buku. You saw that, Giggs?
Yeah. Buku was stiff early for sure.
50th game as well. Buku, bloody good.
So we got there. It was scrappy, but a few good things. Will Lewis was good, I thought.
Will Lewis was amazing.
Great.
That mark in the last 2 minutes out on the wing.
And he's 28, Anthony Scott's old number, is that correct? Yeah. And you're just kind of going, hey, Scotty, no, that's right.
He reminds me of another Scott, 28, Scott Welsh, who we had for a couple of years in 08, 09, kicked 40 goals in those 2 seasons.
I'm
was
not
really
sure he's
good
quite got the ability of a Scott Welsh.
Perhaps not.
Similar.
No, just
he reminds you know who he reminds me of? He's Billy Gowers without the tricks.
Oh.
But you know what I mean? Billy Gowers had tricks. But this guy's more reliable.
Yeah, I was going to say Billy Gowers was not as reliable. I mean, Lewis has only played a couple of games, but I get the sense that he will be more reliable.
And also we should point out that Riley Sanders probably had the best game of his career.
I texted exactly that to my kids after the game.
Yeah.
Just on the Will Lewis thing, as great a game as he played and as pivotal as he was, he missed the chance to create history after the siren.
Oh, really?
Because when he had that shot, we were ahead by a point and we were 73. Had he kicked the goal, we would have finished on 79. And, get this, it would have been the 500th instance of a score of 79 in VFL AFL history. No other score has reached that yet. So it would have
really.
What is 70?
79 is the most common score in history, and it's stuck on 499 at the moment.
We've got to get Giggs on Zero Hanger to just trivia.
Well, if you want to bore all your listeners, for sure.
No, but that's so 79 is the most common score in history.
It's been registered 409. It's about 20 ahead, I think, from memory.
Wow.
I do have the list somewhere.
What's the least popular score that's actually happened? Obviously, 1 billion is never been done.
Well, I mean, I think 0 goals 1 has been registered maybe twice or something like that.
It started early.
Yeah.
But being a mathematician, and it probably doesn't work this way, so 79 the average score? No.
I haven't
has to be close.
It would be around about that, because if you have a look at the top 20, they're all in the 70s, and there's a couple in the 80s, I think maybe 1 or 2 in the 90s. But so it would be around about that mark now. I mean, it certainly wasn't in the first 50 years. It started off in the 30s, went to the 40s, 50s, and...
So what is it, 12 goals 7 the most common, you think? Or
no, 11-13 I think is the most common one.
There you go. Jeez.
And there have been a couple of 9-goal 25s in there.
Right. No, but Will Lewis was that tired and happy that he just missed that shot.
I mean,
anyway,
I didn't lose any sleep over it. But
no.
He did have a chance to make history and blew it.
So... I mean, your brain just works so amazingly, Andrew, with just all the way that you remember little stats like that. How hard was it when you're writing the history of the Footscray Football Club to not just cram in all these fun little factoids and everything?
Yeah, it was pretty difficult. You should see how much stuff Slattery chopped out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we could reveal that in the Patreon.
He straightened you up a bit.
It could be, like a...
But I'm reading Against All Odds now. There's actually not many words. It's a picture book.
That was
suits me, but they're wonderful captions.
It's good for us state school educated boys.
That was the first year that Slattery had the idea of doing a pictorial for the premiership team. And I've actually been involved in a few since. Unfortunately, one of those was in 2021.
Ugh. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that.
The morning after that game and start work on it.
What a nightmare!
I would have chucked it in. I would have said, "Fuck you, Slats."
I'm proud. I'm proud of surviving it.
Anyway,
sorry.
How do you start writing the history of the Footscray Football Club? I mean, where because I mean, famously, like the Richmond Football Club started at the Royal Hotel on Punt Road, and Collingwood started at the Grace Darling Hotel. Do we know the location of where Footscray Football Club was first thought of?
Not really, and I would have to defer for the intimate detail to Ace about this, because basically we split the book into 2, and Ace concentrated on the first sort of half of the history, and I did the second half. So he did all the deep diving stuff on that. But look, even the official start year is up in the air, even though the club likes to say 1883 is the official. And I think from memory, that was the first year there was officially membership tickets.
Okay.
But there were sort of teams of similar names, and they may have been related, they may not have been related. It's difficult to pinpoint the exact moment.
Right.
And when did we become French? Well, it
was around about that time. It was the whole, the imperial.
Was there a French were there French people around there that were influencing the whole rouge, blanc, et
I
bleu?
don't think so. I think it was just a bit of a thing.
Just francophiles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there was many croissants and baguettes down Barclay Street at that stage.
Ironically, now it's full of banh mi's, which has got a great French influence.
But the other interesting thing is the Richmond Footy Club started at the Royal.
It did, yes.
Hasn't the Royal come
which is
a long
now
way?
the topless
famous
bar.
for
Yes,
things.
that's right.
A historical day at the footy that you go to the Royal. So,
I was filming a little pilot for about the history of the rivalry between Richmond and Collingwood, and we were filming outside, and the manager came in and go, what are you filming for? And I go, we're doing the history. He's like, oh, really? He's like, oh, yeah. And he goes, do you want to come in and film? And the producer was like, yeah, I don't think that's going to look good at the moment. But anyway, so
if I'm not mistaken, I believe at the moment Ace lives around the corner from the Royal.
Oh, okay.
I ran into Ace at a pub. I just can't remember which one. He came up out of the blue. So, yeah.
You do a lot. You're just meeting a lot of people in public. You're
Yeah.
seeing the Carlton coach at a cafe, historians at pubs.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I
because
saw
he has
Vossi
to
at
leave the
Bunnings.
house and wander the streets when the
Yeah.
Bulldogs are getting in.
That's right. Yeah. I saw Vossi at Bunnings 2 weeks ago.
Oh, there we go. Hang on, for real?
Climbing a ladder. No, he was at
Yeah,
Bunnings.
okay.
He was at Bunnings.
Yeah?
So he's a lovely guy.
Which
Vossi. That's
Bunnings?
why there's Hawthorn.
Yeah,
so he
okay.
lives K or two away over the river, just near the.
Well, he moved back to Brisbane now.
No, he lives near the Elgin, which is another great pub.
It's a
You
real
know, the
theme
Elgin Inn, yeah.
since you came on this podcast a lot.
Stevo's pub tour podcast.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
now
should
we're
do
talking.
that. Yeah, we should do a show from. We could do the Elgin.
I think we should do it. We need to do a live watch along for an interstate game somewhere.
to do it at the Mona.
Considering you know all the pubs, Steve.
Well, we've got to go to the Mona for that, don't we?
Oh,
Mona
yeah, get
Castle.
Libba's pub.
Or
yeah.
Castle. Coming from Shepparton, it's definitely Castle.
Do you?
What?
Do you got the Adelaide influence there, do you?
Castle, not Castle.
Yeah, well,
it's Castle.
Castlemaine, the people up there always say it's
Do they?
Castlemaine, not Castlemaine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, we should do that, Danny. I think there's plenty of good pubs around here. We could go to the Spread Eagle and do a live show.
All right. Well, let's we'll have an on-air meeting at some point about that. So I could see your page in front of you, Gigs. I'd love to do the great broadcasting thing and feed you a line that goes into it perfectly, but really I cannot understand that. It looks like the Unabomber wrote it. What is this manifesto that you've got here? What do you got for us?
My writing has sort of suffered since I started tapping on keyboards many years ago. Well, just a couple of sort of funny-ish kind of moments stand out for me. In particular, there was one game when I was just a kid. I used to go to the footy with my brother. This is at Western Oval, now Whitten Oval, in 1978. We used to get there early, get there at about half-time of the reserves, and enjoy the game and just have a bit of a chat. No music interrupting us at that point. And this particular day, we were playing Essendon, and it was a very close game in the last quarter. From memory, the Bombers were just ahead, and we were attacking to the Barclay Street end where I was standing, right near the Essendon cheer squad. Peter Welsh, who was coming back from injury through the reserves, grabbed the ball. So for those who don't remember, Peter Welsh was a great ruckman and forward for the Dogs back in the late 60s and early 70s. Picked up the ball on the boundary line, handballed it towards a teammate who was running into the goal, but he underestimated his own strength, and his handball went so far that it actually went through the goals.
Oh, dear.
However, the umpire must have been a bit confused by the length of the handball because he signalled full points.
Oh.
And that put the Dogs in front.
Is there footage of this?
No, there's no footage. And the Essendon cheer squad went completely nuts. But the thing was that for many years, the only person who I could corroborate that with was my brother, and I began to wonder whether it really happened. So in writing the book, I rang Peter Welsh a couple of years ago and asked him whether he remembered that moment, and he said he did.
Wow.
So it is true, but he also revealed that 5 years earlier he'd kicked another very important goal that wasn't a goal either.
Oh.
He had been playing against North Melbourne. This was in a senior match. North Melbourne at Arden Street.
Oh, hang on. So the first one you've mentioned.
So the first one I mentioned was in 1978.
In the reserves?
In the reserves.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's why it's not famous.
No, that's right. Yeah, that's why there's no footage. He said, actually, yeah, but it wasn't the first time something like that happened. He had kicked a goal. He kicked 4 goals from a very close range near the goal square. It's a very wet day at Arden Street, very low-scoring game. And kicked the ball, and the umpire signalled full points. But he said that if you were there, you would have seen the ball deflect almost 90 degrees off David Dench's hand or arm.
Right.
Somehow the goal umpire missed it. He was given the goal. He ended up kicking 4 goals that day out of 8, and the final result was each side 8 goals, 8-56.
Oh.
So pretty important not goal or goal, as you might call it.
That's pretty awesome. So do you remember the game, Stevo, in 1993, I believe it was, when we were playing the Bombers? Peter Foster.
I remember.
Now, this one's a bit more famous because he kicked it. It absolutely went through for a behind.
Missed by that far.
Yes.
That far. It practically
and he
was.
laughed.
It was practically out of bounds on the full. Umpire gives it a goal. He runs over and shakes the
That's
goal
right.
umpire's hand.
That was so
Yeah,
good.
and there is footage of that, I'm sure.
That was so good. And speaking of Peter Foster, this is a bit of a revelation, to be honest, because I'm doing my top 10 Bulldogs I've seen of all time. There's a big list to go through for Zero Hanger, and I can reveal that Fozzie has made the list.
That's
All right.
fantastic.
I loved him.
Where are we up to on
I backed
the
up
list?
with I spoke to Mark Hunter, who's a good mate of mine,
Yeah,
just
I
to
know Mark.
verify
Yeah.
it, and he said Scotty Wine, Chris Grant, and Fozzie, the best players he played with. He only played with Doug towards the end.
Yep.
So he's given me the tick of approval. So I can reveal that
That's fantastic.
Fozzie will be in
well
the team.
deserved.
Oh, it's well deserved. I would have had him in the team of the century.
Because
So he's
I
got
always
in all,
thought he was
yeah.
underrated. Yeah.
When's
Definitely
this article
underrated.
out? When can we reveal
Probably
it?
on Friday.
On Friday.
Yeah, yeah. So Fozzie's in. I just love the guy. Everything he did.
Yeah.
So do
His
I.
marking, his long left foot boot.
He was actually the first Bulldogs I got his number on my back.
Yeah.
Is that right?
32.
And
Yep.
Paul Deere, the late Paul Deere, sadly, of course, basically ended Fozzie's career.
Yeah, it was very sad.
Bad
that, yeah.
kicking
Tripped
motion,
him, yeah.
basically tripped him and broke his leg.
Oh, no. What year's
Yeah.
that?
Early 91,
90
92.
Yeah,
Yeah,
92,
he wasn't
I
there
was
in
gonna
92. He's not in the Diamond Dogs
I think he was
video.
injured.
Okay.
But Fozzie was a great player. So there's a revelation. And there's 3 or 4 Brownlow medalists miss out, and Fozzie gets in.
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
Where's Danny Del Rey in this?
It's cult figures I loved. The players that you love, that you'd love to get in. I would have loved to get Steve Kolinuk in.
Oh, yes.
I loved him.
Yeah.
The greatest Ukrainian to ever play the game.
And
Good St Albans boy.
And Steve Krediuk, loved him.
Yeah,
Yep.
also a St Albans
And
boy.
Super.
Also,
And Ukrainian.
he's not Ukrainian because
Is he not?
I went on front bar to talk about the
wow.
Ukraine fundraiser, and I had the Ukrainian team of the century and had Steve Krediuk in there. And Krediuk messaged me on Instagram going, "Thanks, mate, but I'm Polish."
That's the first surname ending with IUK that I've ever seen that's not Ukrainian.
Yeah, must be from the border, the Carpathian Mountains. Anyway, what else have you got here, Gigs?
Well, I'm just thinking about, now that you talked about Essendon, I'm also remembering a very famous or infamous day in 1984 where it's pretty rare for us. Well, it's not rare for teams to go goalless in a quarter, even for a half. But on this particular day in 1984, the score at half-time, Essendon, who are going to be a premiership side that year, against the Bulldogs, Footscray, 0 goals 7 at half-time. Essendon, 0 goals 7.
Oh,
Can I mention a player that might have had an impact in this game that people
You
might have
certainly
forgotten?
can.
Is it John Bennett?
It is, yes.
What,
so
I
how's
don't know
this?
about John Bennett.
Yeah,
I'll-
John
I'll
Bennett.
run it-
It's
I'll
come
run you
to me.
through it.
It's come to me.
In the third quarter, Essendon finally scored a goal. In fact, they scored 3 of them.
Rude.
And, so it looked like they were going to get on top and win the game. Slush everywhere, mud, players slipping and sliding. But then in the last quarter, John Bennett, who didn't play many games for us, I think he played a couple for St Kilda as well, possibly, snapped the goal. And then within a minute, we got the ball out of the middle and he snapped the goal again. And suddenly we were sort of within a couple of points. And I can't remember who kicked the third goal. But we kicked another goal and actually hit the front.
Yeah.
So it was like 3 goals 14 to 3 goals 10. All the goals had been scored at one end of the ground.
And
Essendon-
I've got a feeling who might have kicked Essendon won, didn't they? It was a heartbreak.
They did.
Was it Stephen Bradbury or not?
Not Stephen, Peter.
Peter Bradbury,
Yeah.
not Stephen.
But
No,
it
but
was
I got it. I
it
got
was the original Bradbury moment
Peter
because the
Bradbury. I know.
the Dons were
Peter
behind
Bradbury.
and he kicked the only goal to the scoreboard end, and that put
I don't know
Essendon.
how I remember that stuff. It was a
Well,
dark-headed
it just
guy.
what I remember is that just getting drenched. I've had a look at the sort of, because I'm a weather nerd as well. I've looked at the weather stats for that day, and there wasn't that much rain. But I'm telling you, in Footscray, it poured for the entire match. We just got drenched. So there must have been a very local, I don't know what, storm cell or something.
I wasn't at that game, but I was watching from afar.
I was
In
there,
Shepparton.
and we got pretty annoyed at Peter Bradbury, or Stephen, as you might call him.
Yeah, but I only went to one game in 1984.
Which one?
It was a good one. It was a long trip from Shep. It was a Gubby Allen game.
Oh,
Tell me the Gubby Allen.
Now,
Oh, everybody
that's
knows
another
the
famous
Gubby. That's just a rip.
quirk of history. That was a game that Collingwood was well in front for most of the game. We came back in the last quarter. Looked like they were going to hang
I reckon
on.
we were 5 or 6 down at three-quarter time.
I think we were, yeah.
I've actually seen this.
yes.
Foxtel has this as
this is big.
Great quarters.
Yeah, exactly.
I have seen
yeah.
it on this, but please tell me.
And
tell me.
anyway, it looked like we were going to run out of time. There was a sort of a throw in and then a free kick to the Bulldogs in the back in our forward. No, sorry, to Collingwood in their back pocket, our forward pocket. And Gubby Allen went to pass the ball across the face of goal, which in 1984 was not a very done thing.
No, the switch wasn't on.
Yeah, the switch was not on. And in particular on this day, it was intercepted by a very astute Simon Beasley who was onto it, took the mark, and then the crowd went nuts, kicked the goal, and basically the siren went immediately afterwards.
I think we were 5 points down.
So we went from 5 points down to winning by
Jimmy
a point.
Edmonds this is famous. This is
Jimmy Edmonds pointing to his temple.
Jimmy Edmonds
Yes.
pointing to his
Yeah,
temple like this.
Yes.
So I was living in Shepparton at the time. It was a long way in those days, 84. Other things to do. Used to follow from afar. So it was the only game I got to. I went down with 2 Collingwood supporters.
even better.
A mate was a Collingwood
Brilliant.
supporter and the dad. The dad was so pissed off. Like, we're driving home and then he got a speeding fine. I'm just chuckling.
Oh, no. Well, see, for Footscray fans back in those days, they were kind of like our premiership days because we didn't have flags, so we had to sort of hang our hats on something else, and that was definitely one of them.
Magic McLean, I reckon, was good that day. So, Danny, you need to go back to the video of that.
I clearly do. They need to. Are these all on? Can the Bulldogs officially, as the historian, on the YouTube channel? We need these quarters and whatnot. Are they? Is that a possibility?
Leave it with me.
All right.
I don't know.
We certainly need
to do with copyright and all those sorts of things.
We certainly need the moments, don't we? Cause
Absolutely, we do.
There's a lot of them.
I think there should be a running segment on the Bulldogs website called Stuff You Should Know, and it's like history moments like that every Bulldogs fan should be aware of.
Yep. Well, I volunteer.
Done. Let's pitch it.
And another great moment also at Western Oval. This is in 1990. Now, a lot of people know about early 80s Lee Matthews breaking the point post at Windy Hill.
Yes.
And he basically ran into it and it snapped in half, and there's famous footage of it with Lou Richards saying, "What a he-man."
So good, that footage. Yeah.
But there's no footage of what happened in 1990 at Witten Oval. And again, it happened to be just in front of me down at the Barclay Street end.
Can I do a Stevo and guess who? Are we talking about Super Steve McPherson?
No, we're not.
Oh, okay, then.
No,
Play
we're
on.
not.
I reckon I know who this is.
Would you like to?
It's not Danny Delray.
No, his nickname was Galaxy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Glenn
Glenn
Coleman.
Coleman.
It was too. I do remember this.
Smashed into the post going up for a mark, and he didn't snap it halfway like Lee Matthews. No, he was much bigger than that. He snapped it off at the base.
Yeah, didn't it? He uprooted
I
it.
reckon there is
uprooted it.
vision of that. I've seen.
And
it.
there
definitely
is
photos.
There's definitely photos. I've got a couple of photos, and so there's a whole bunch of sort of trainers who sort of carry him off like it's on a stretcher, carrying the post
point
off.
post.
Post off. And from memory, they had to get like some sort of half-size little league kind of thing and just hold it up for the rest of the quarter.
Wow.
And then at three-quarter time, they brought out a replacement one.
Galaxy. You know why they called him Galaxy? He's a smart guy, but at times it's like he's nothing going on upstairs.
Yeah. It's a
You know,
bit, it's a
space
little bit
between
like
years.
Rodney would have said the sort of thing that he said about Will Minson. You know, dumbest smart guy I've ever known.
Yeah, that's right. Smart guy who did dumb things on the ground.
Just spaced out at times. That's what I'm told. Anyway.
My son calls me the smartest dumb guy he knows, so I'm happy with that.
There you go. So that's one of the other sort of quirky favourite moments of mine. I will mention, if there's time, a little personal one of mine.
Please.
Now, we all know that there are some famous, a very famous name at the Bulldogs, Charlie Sutton. There are a few people in the western suburbs who wouldn't know who he was. But I'm proud to say that one of the people who didn't was my dad, because Dad worked at ICI for about 40 years in Deer Park. He was an industrial chemist, and he used to go to the retirees' lunches. And this was at the time when ICI were a sponsor for the Western Bulldogs. Mm-hmm. And one particular day, he sat down, and he would always sit at a table where he tries to meet new people who had worked at other parts of ICO that he didn't know, and say, they talk to each other and say, oh, what did you do? What did you do? And that's what happened this particular afternoon. The man came up to him and said, oh, what did you do? Oh, I said, I worked in the explosives department. I was an explosive tester for 40 years at Deer Park. Oh, that's really interesting. And my dad said to him, what about you? What did you do? He said, well, my name's Charlie Sutton. And Dad had no idea who
clue.
he was.
Really?
Yep.
No. How good. What a legend. I remember going to interview Charlie and his wife, I forget her name, for the 50-year reunion.
Oh, in 2004.
And Charlie lived,
Yep.
He had a great house, Altona Esplanade, which I haven't been back there since, but it's nice. So he's overlooking the beach and everything in Altona.
That's a great spot.
Great spot, Charlie, and what a pleasure that was.
And did he bring up meeting Gig's dad?
I didn't get around to that.
Okay, that's weird.
We had
I can't
tea and
believe
Must have
that.
saved it for the Patreon.
Yeah, that's right.
We had tea and scones, but all these memories, a lot of them are Whitten Oval based, obviously, aren't they? Which is
They are. I mean, look, we could go on for hours.
my favourite's the end of the Whitten Oval was just so good that last day.
Against West Coast Eagles,
Oh,
97,
yeah.
the last
That-
stand.
yeah.
There is a great
atmosphere
photo of the entire crowd too,
Yes.
which, that was a great day.
I seem to have a memory of like that at the end of it when we know we'd won. Everyone, even though we were called the Western Bulldogs, then there was a last chant of Footscray, clap, 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 Footscray, and a few people had
Yes.
tears and stuff. And hopefully, from what you hear, the long term plans of the club, that won't be the last ever men's AFL game.
Yeah.
at Whitten Oval.
I thought you were going to say that we're changing our name back to Footscray.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I would be all for
Yes.
and on board 100% if we hadn't won that premiership. I just think the 16 premiership
What?
under the Western Bulldogs mantra. Do you still think we can do it?
Change the name or win the grand
I think
final?
we can. And
But that history, there, if you go to the video, sorry, I'm not choking. I've just had a twisty, so I'm not that emotional
well, I
about
think
it.
from memory, North Melbourne won their 99 flag as the Kangaroos.
You are dead right, yes.
Yeah. To me, that's not a, and
Brisbane won their 1944 flag as Fitzroy, so it
That's
can
right.
be done.
Yeah,
and they weren't even the Lions then; they were the Gorillas.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm leaning more and more to going back to Footscray.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a bit of a slap in the face to the suburb. At the time, they said, well, it's not really an aspirational place. It's not a place where people want to
But now
be
it's
and we
awesome.
want to expand. Now it's great.
But even if it wasn't, that doesn't matter. Like, no one wants to live in Collingwood, but it's still like. Also, Western means nothing. It's a direction. People think we're a Perth team.
And now we've got Greater Western Sydney. We've got West Coast Eagles.
Yeah.
And also puts you low down on the list, alphabetical order, whenever they do a list.
The points I've been making for many years. Every time you get a season guide or something, it's like imagine like the kids. What's this football thing? Open it up.
They've chosen a team.
They've picked the team before they get to the back page.
But that's like being Google, first on Google.
Exactly. There was a reason.
Immediate listening. Let's get on board.
So we change our name, Footscray
Is Patrick
Aardvarks.
Warren listening?
I'm so glad you brought this up, Steve, because I think about like the Yellow Pages. How many companies named AAA or AAAA plumbers were there? It must have worked.
Yeah, mate, I agree. I mean, we've
look,
been
it's never
saying it
going
for
to
ages.
happen.
It's
Well,
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Stevo. Wasn't it illegal that they changed the name to begin with? Because normally, according to club charter, to change the club's name would require members' vote and a 2/3 majority.
yeah, I kind of did go over this, and I mean there was an argument that you could make, but there was also a counter argument, and of course we do have to remember that the name of the club is still officially Footscray Football Club,
what I
as you
say
mentioned in the intro.
every
trading
podcast.
as the Western Bulldogs.
But yeah, no, please change it back.
But it's like Western is nowhere. The whole having to say Western Bulldogs takes time and feels wishy-washy.
Yep.
But if you say Footscray, it's
Yep.
got a oomph to it.
It does.
You know,
Hard
you're not going to
syllables
say
in there.
Northern Magpies.
No.
Collingwood.
Sort of when I hear that Footscray,
Yeah.
there's something about it. And the first time it got me was the premiership that VFL won. Was that
2014?
Yeah, 2014.
I
Yeah.
started to hear that chant Footscray. I don't know why, because it was just VFL and it was our second. I started
awesome.
to stir up a bit.
Yeah.
Well,
Footscray.
it was.
Footscray.
Felt
You know,
that was
it's
such a
something
great
special.
day because Hawthorn
Yeah.
were ahead or Box Hill were ahead by 5
They
goals.
took Cyril
three-quarter
off,
time.
remember?
They took Cyril off.
That's right.
Yeah. But even almost better for me of that year was the first game we played against Richmond at Whitten Oval.
Oh yeah, I was there. Yep.
And so it was the first time we'd kind of played as Footscray in 20 odd, whatever it was, 30, 27 years. And doing a lap at half time, I was coming across these people who I'd last seen at that same ground 27 years earlier, just sort of standing in the same spot.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And to boot, we won by 100 points against
did.
Richmond,
Yeah. Yep.
and it just kicked off a magnificent season.
For our centenary
At least
last
in the
year, or
reserves.
the 150. What was it? 150 last year. We should have been Footscray. Or was it
For the 100 years in the
100
league.
years?
100
in the league.
years.
100 years
Yeah.
in the
Yep.
Yeah,
or
the-
just forever.
100 years that's right.
in the league.
Do you know what else? Do you know
Look,
what
we
I would
should
ex-
start this campaign. I'm coming around to it.
Well,
I
it'll be 150 officially in 2033, so we can start
So
now.
do you think
Now we're talking.
if this went to the members, what do you think the response
I think the
would
vote.
be?
I think we would get a 2/3 majority. There are a few people who do prefer
Yeah.
Western Bulldogs, but with all due respect to them, you're wrong.
Yeah. Well, I can remember Peter Gordon being asked, saying, why don't you take this to the members? And he said something along the lines of, we have taken it to the members. And I thought,
No.
well, I can't remember that.
Yeah.
I do know that when we introduced the VFL side, that went to a vote. And
Yes.
Footscray was
Yeah.
overwhelmingly the winner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So-
the thing is, and there may be people listening now, but we don't take things to the members. The last time there was an election at the Western Bulldogs, I can't recall. It's
It's never. I actually had a friend who tried to get on the board.
members are hard hand-picked. If you try to
Yep.
get on the board, things get a bit toey, and we're
Yeah.
going to, we'll rally against you. This type of thing. So I'm all for footy democracy, and a fan's
Who do you
voice
want on the board, Stevo? Do you want to get in a seat at the table, or
Well, actually, this is a bit of a revelation.
yeah?
I asked for a form.
Yeah, great.
No, this a couple of years ago.
That's exciting. What happened?
but wasn't that well received.
Yeah, I know someone who also tried to get a form and had to do a lot of bureaucracy and whatnot.
So I didn't go ahead with it in the end. It wasn't that well received.
Yeah.
From
I'm
high
championing
places.
for Tom Boyd to be our voice on the
yeah.
board.
I like
Because, man, he's got the business acumen. He's got the confidence. He's
Yeah.
got the, he looks like a board member.
He's got the height.
He's got the height.
He does. See, I was in politics at that stage, so no journalism,
Yep.
media background.
Hey, perfect.
A voice of the supporters plus media.
Yep.
Asked for a nomination form and kept asking. Got a form, and I won't say much more. But it
Yeah,
wasn't.
all right.
It wasn't taken too well.
There we
to
go.
the extent was you can do it, but you probably get campaigned against. So
This is good. All right.
Interesting.
We're getting deep here. All right.
Could we get the? Yeah, I think I could get the supporters vote, but I didn't want to cause
Well, let's.
any ructions.
So hang on. What are we doing this? We getting you on the board and then we're changing the name, or are we changing the name and then getting you on the board?
Well, now I'm sort of back in journalism. I can't do it, but
Oh, you can't?
we'll make it. We'll make a push at some stage.
Let's change the name.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
Hey,
all for democracy in footy.
Absolutely. We're the People's Club. We've got to duck behind the paywall soon because
All right. Yes,
Gigacz has
I
got.
do have one more special fact, and it is an example of being wronged in a match against Carlton too.
Oh, okay. Oh, I love that. That's exciting. So, how do you think we're going to go against the Blues? Gigs?
Look, I'm confident. I'm one to try and sort of break with tradition and not worry about hoodoos and things like that. We need to put those things behind us. I reckon we're going to win easily.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I think we'll win. It won't be easy, but it's obviously Tim English out hurts because there's a common denominator there when he misses. But yeah, I'm on the Dogs.
You're going to be taking a lot of walks, I reckon.
Yeah.
I
Steve.
may even be at the game yet. It's just not a Dogs home game.
No, it's not.
No,
And
it's
I don't
not.
really want to be surrounded by Carlton people on a coach bounce night. They'll turn up a bit more, I reckon, this week because the coach is gone. And in the past, when Carlton supporters have left early, I've let them know all about it. So, you know how you do that to certain... Carlton supporters leave earlier than anyone else.
Yeah, one of my favourite moments was the 2016 semi-final against Hawthorn.
Oh, yeah.
When they left early.
Oh, that was so dumb. Like, you've just won a three-peat. Clap them off. You wankers. Anyway, I'll be watching at home. My wife is hosting a Eurovision party.
Ooh.
I thought you were going to say Tupperware.
Better than that. Eurovision party. So I will be forced to watch on my phone because she's commandeering both the TV screens with the Eurovision.
Just go down to the local.
No, I got to go there. I got to help with cater and stuff, and
So it's a fancy dress.
the dress code is Soviet glam.
So you'll be right.
I'll be watching on my phone, but also also, my soccer team, Celtic, is playing its final match of the year, do or die against Hearts. So I'll be watching that on the iPad. So I'm going to be very stressed.
Well, I'll be surrounded by navy blue at the ground.
Okay. Good on you, Gigs. All right. Hey, if you want to hear Gigs' extra special story, it's only $5 a month to go on Patreon. If you want to hear my deep dive on the Dead Coach Bounce, check out the Danny Boyd podcast Instagram. And if you want the best news about football, zerohanger.com.au or just .com? Both. There you go.
Gave my childhood to that roar of the red, white and blue sea, and the knowledge that you had two loves, the Bulldog boys and me. 20 years on, I feel that longing hanging in September air. But the reason I go every week is to pretend you're still there. And they will find the glory one day, and I will throw it at your feet. It's a long, long road they're running for you, the dogs of Footscray streets. Long, long road they're running for you, the dogs of Footscray streets.